The next topic we're going to be talking about is security. WordPress security is the practice of protecting a WordPress website from attacks and vulnerabilities. Since WordPress is so popular and widely used, it can be vulnerable to security threats. WordPress sites are often hacked primarily due to vulnerabilities in plugins and themes. This is the number one reason to keep your WordPress plugins and themes updated. Updates patch security loopholes by fixing known bugs and weaknesses. Outdated software versions contain vulnerabilities that hackers and other bad actors use to load malware and take other actions to exploit or break into your website. Let's take a look at some of the security practices that we can do. You'll want to keep your site up to date. This includes updating themes, plugins, and the WordPress core. You'll also want to use a trusted theme and remove unused themes and plugins. Use a strong password. It should contain a combination of letters, numbers, and symbols, and you should change your password on a regular basis. You can add an extra layer of protection by setting up two-factor authentication. There are plugins that help you do this, like WP2FA. By doing this, users will provide a second form of verification in addition to their password. This is just another extra measure to limit the login attempts and set a timeout for users who show suspicious behavior. You'll want to make sure that you're hosting using an SSL certificate. This will encrypt communication between website and visitors. You can protect against security threats like SQL injections and cross-site scripting by using a firewall. There are plenty of security plugins out there that will allow you to scan for malware, monitor login attempts, and block threats. And finally, you can create backups regularly so that in case something goes wrong, you'll be able to reinstall your website and have it up and running shortly. These are just a few security plugins. There are a bunch more out there. Wordfence is a comprehensive security plugin for WordPress. It includes features such as firewall protection, malware scanning, login attempt monitoring, and more. They have both a free and a premium version, but the free version does offer valuable security checks. Sucuri is a web security platform that offers a free website scanner tool. This will check your website for malware, security issues, and vulnerabilities. They have both a free and a paid version. Solid Security is a cutting-edge WordPress security plugin designed to fortify your website. It's packed with all sorts of essential features like real-time firewall protection, malware scanning, and secure login mechanisms. And it offers an all-in-one solution to secure your online presence. Jetpack Protect specializes in safeguarding WordPress sites against unwanted intrusions. It features robust brute force attack protection and downtime monitoring to keep your site secure and operational. With its streamlined setup, Jetpack Protect seamlessly integrates real-time backups and spam defense, ensuring that your site's data remains intact and your interactions are genuine. There are additional plugins out there, but I just wanted to mention a few that you might want to look into. Finally, these are some suggestions of what you can do in case your website is hacked. Obviously, discovering that your WordPress website has been hacked can be very distressing, but it's important to act quickly to mitigate the damage and restore your site's security. The first thing you'll want to do is isolate the website. If you have multiple websites that are hosted on the same server, isolate the hacked website to prevent the infection from spreading to others. This may involve temporarily taking the affected site offline. Restore to the last backup of your website. To quickly resolve the issue, revert back to an earlier version of your website. If you haven't backed up your website recently, you'll definitely want to implement a backup strategy for future use. You'll want to change the password for all user accounts on your WordPress site, including administrators, editors, and contributors. Ensure that strong, unique passwords are used. Scan for malware. Use a security plugin, like I mentioned earlier, or a third-party malware scanning tool to scan your website for malicious code and malware. Identify and remove suspicious files. Review your website's files and directories for any unfamiliar or suspicious files. Hackers often inject malicious code into core files, themes, or plugins. Remove any files that you suspect are compromised. Make sure your database is clean. You'll want to check the WordPress database for unauthorized changes or suspicious content. Restore any modified tables or entries to their original state. Review your user accounts. Audit the list of all registered users and remove any unfamiliar or unauthorized accounts. Ensure that there are no unauthorized administrators. Change your security keys and salts. In your WP config file, you can change both of these things. This step can help invalidate any stolen login credentials. And finally, if you do get hacked, you'll want to make sure that you notify your visitors. If the hack potentially exposed sensitive user data, you'll need to comply with data breach notification laws and inform affected users of the breach. Let's go ahead and install a few plugins that can help to keep our website more secure. I'm going to begin by installing a plugin. As you can see, I have several things that need to be updated. So WordPress is letting me know right away that we do have some updates that we should perform, both on a few of my plugins and on one of my themes. Keep in mind that you always want to keep everything up to date because this is where vulnerabilities lie, in plugins and themes that are not updated. For now, I'm going to keep these unupdated so I can show you what the plugin looks like when everything is not working correctly. I'm going to add a new plugin and we're going to search for Wordfence. We'll be installing the Wordfence Security Firewall, Malware Scan, and Login Security plugin. I'm going to click Install Now, and then we'll activate the plugin. Once the plugin is activated, you're going to get a screen that shows you that the plugin has been successfully installed and activated. In order to use this plugin, you'll have to go ahead and register and obtain a Wordfence license. You can go ahead and click this link, or if you already have an existing license, you can go ahead and use the existing license. I'm going to click Get Your Wordfence License, which is going to go ahead and take me to the Wordfence website. And as you can see, they have several different versions of the plugin. We're going to be focusing on the free license. This is somewhat limited, but it does do a decent job. If you have more timely needs, you may need to purchase one of the premium versions of their plugin to ensure that your website is secure and protected from any threats. I will click Get a Free License. It's going to let me know that if I choose the free license, I have to wait 30 days for protection from new threats. So once you get this license, it actually takes 30 days to actually kick in. This is one of the limitations of the free plugin. What I suggest is that you install this plugin early so that you'll be able to get to that 30 days before the plugin is really needed if you're going to be using the free version. I'll go ahead and click I'm okay waiting 30 days. It's going to ask for my email. You can go ahead and answer if you would like WordPress security and vulnerability alerts sent to you via email. I'll click yes. And then you need to accept the terms and conditions for the plugin. Finally, you'll click register. It's going to process this, and then you'll need to check your email so that you can get your license key. I'm going to check my email, and you can see I have an email from Wordfence Security. You can complete the installation in two ways. You can have the automatic installation, which if you click this button, it will automatically install the license. And as you can see, it's already gone ahead and identified my website that I would need the installation installed on. Conversely, there is a manual installation, and this is going to provide you with a license key. you will need to copy this key and use this key in order to install the plugin. I'm going to go back to Wordfence and I will just install manually. So I'm going to click install an existing license. I'll need to enter the email address that I registered the Wordfence plugin with, and I'll need to enter the license key. Once again, you can choose if you want the WordPress security and vulnerability alerts sent to your email. I'll click yes and click install license. You'll get a message that the license has been installed, and then we'll go ahead and go to the dashboard. Now that this plugin is installed, you can see that I have a new category in my sidebar menu called Wordfence, and this is where I can configure the Wordfence plugin. As you can see, you'll get some information here. It's going to tell you a little bit about the different areas of the plugin, the types of things that you'll be able to do. I'm going to click got it. And now, as you can see, I need to set up some things. Because I just installed the plugin, the firewall application is currently in learning mode, which means that it needs to learn a little bit about my website. We can go to Manage Firewall, and this will let us configure the firewall. What the firewall does is it will analyze incoming traffic to your website and block requests that are deemed suspicious or malicious based on its constantly updated threat database. When you first install Wordfence, it does recommend that you let the plugin run for about a week before you enable the firewall. And as you can see down here in the left-hand pane, it's going to automatically enable this feature a week from when I've installed the plugin. As time goes on, we will get more in-depth feedback about how this particular part of the plugin is working. I'm going to click back to dashboard, and you can see that a scan has already been done. If we click manage scan, we'll get more information about this. Because I just installed the plugin, I'm not getting very accurate information, but this is a great place for you to come to get more information as you have the plugin installed for a longer amount of time. I would just stick with the standard scan initially, but you can obviously tweak these things if you find that you think your website has been hacked, or if you want to limit the detection elements. You can go into these different options, and obviously some of these things are reserved for the premium version of the plugin, but you can see the scans that it is going to do. You'll be able to turn some of these on and off if they are not working for you. I'm just going to leave all the recommended options on. There's a performance option area as well, and then advanced scanning options. Once again, I am just going to use the defaults, but it is worth looking into these areas so you can learn more about how this plugin works. The final thing I want to draw your attention to is you can see that I have a notification. It's letting me know that I have updates for 2 of my plugins and 1 of my themes. We'll definitely want to take care of this. So if I click this link, it is going to take me to the page that you can also access by going to updates, and we'll be able to update our plugins. I'm going to select both of these and update them. As you can see, the plugins have been updated. Another option that we have is Wordfence will automatically update and stay up to date. I feel that that is beneficial, so I'm going to click yes, enable auto update. And finally, we'll go back to updates, and we will go ahead and select our theme and update the theme as well. If we go back to Wordfence at this point, you can see that there are no notifications. Much of the settings remain the same, but if you do install this plugin and come back after a period of time, you should get more information, and this can definitely help to protect your website. There are other options here that you can access. There is a login security area, which actually will allow you to install a 2-factor authentication. This is a new feature to Wordfence. And if you want more information, you can click next and get more information about this particular feature. I'm going to close this up. We'll go to the top of the page and we'll go to 2-factor authentication. How this works is it works with your phone. You'll need an authenticator app installed on your phone, and then you're going to scan this code in order to install this. In order to ensure that this works, you will need to have an authenticator application installed. This particular plugin works with Google Authenticator, Authy, Free OTP, LastPass Authenticator, Duo Mobile, and Microsoft Authenticator. I'm going to simply use Google Authenticator in order to set this up. I'll open the Google Authenticator app. I'm going to scan the QR code. So I will scan the QR code that's provided to me on Wordfence. Once I have that, and you'll want to enter the code and click activate. It's going to give you a message that if you lose access to the authenticator device, you can use recovery codes to log in. So you will want to download those. I'll click that now. Now you can see that Wordfence two-factor authentication is active. If we go ahead and log out on our account and then log back in, you're going to see that Wordfence is now asking me for the two-factor code. At this point, I will need to log into my authenticator application and enter the provided code. Once I've done that, I'll be able to log back into my website. This is obviously going to give you another level of security, which is going to benefit your website and help to keep it more secure. There's just a few things that you need to do, but it certainly is worth doing. I highly recommend that you keep WordPress up to date. This includes themes and plugins. I also recommend that you install a security plugin that will offer malware scanning and firewall protection. And I recommend that you use some sort of two-factor authentication. Obviously, if you're using the Wordfence plugin, that feature is also built in, which makes it kind of nice because you don't need multiple plugins. I hope this helps, and I hope that your website stays nice and secure.